Cheers. Welcome, sports card hobby family. Steve, how we doing?
Good. Actually, excited for this. Not that I'm not normally excited, but it's good to, every 2 weeks, it just feels like, especially when we're not chatting much in between, that it's always good. It's like a catch-up session almost.
Yeah, the last month has been crazy. I feel like for both of us, you've been
Yeah.
it's like you work and then you're Tuesday, Wednesday are your days off?
Yeah. Tuesday, Wednesday, and then, and I'm busy on those days. Like even my video that I put out this week, it'd probably been 3 weeks to a month before I'd done a video. And I hear that beeping sound now. Do you hear it?
Yeah, my oldest son decided to make food at 10 p.m. at night.
Oh, it sounds like a microwave.
What you get with teenagers. They just do whatever the hell they want.
What are they getting them Hot Pockets?
I gave a clear out notice to everybody 15 minutes ago. Still hanging around. Hanging around.
Quality time with the dad, man. But so like this right now, as far as the hobby goes, the live stream has been kind of like my only outlet. So it's, I look forward to it even more because I'm not driving to work making videos like I was doing and getting stuff off my chest or talking about things that are going on. So not because I don't like to, but I spend a lot of time now talking to my dad and my mom and stuff on my way to work. That's kind of the only time I get to even call and have good conversation with my family. So
yeah,
I've been doing that.
No, I totally get it. Family first. I got you. Let's say hello to a few people here. We've also connected to Steve's channel as well. So we are on full tilt tonight. We've got Sean Redmond. How's it going, Sean? Hoff Van Dam. Michael Stone. What's going on? Brendan Ryan. Good to see you, buddy. You're always here. We can always count on you. No Limit Rich. Vintage card collector. What's going on, man? We got Mike Petty. Cheersing with Red Breast Funny. Okay, great. Oh, good. Mike's drinking, so that'll be fun in the chat tonight. This is a chat run show tonight. So we've got a couple of topics, but for the most part, we're just going to be talking to you guys. Checking in. EL, what's going on? Hambone, are you ready for the National? You guys are practicing beds?
Oh, yeah. I was just talking to my wife about the National because there's an event every year. The last 2 weeks of July, there's an event that goes on here near the casino. It's like a big carnival. I guess it's like a fair, like a state fair. But for the last week of it, I will be or for most of it, I'll be in Chicago. So I was telling her that. And I was thinking, I'm going to be honest. I'm not feeling as excited for the National this year as I have in the past, but it's because it's not that I don't want to go. I think I'm feeling more excited about just going to Chicago than I am about spending hours upon hours at the show.
Now, you actually said that you might venture off and do some stuff in Chicago, right?
I'd like to, but I don't want to have to hang out by myself either. Like if I want to go check out some of the architecture, take like one of those tours, like river tours or something where they talk about the buildings and all that. I'd like to just see a little bit more of the city. It is a city with a lot of history. And last time I was there and I was pretty much in the same building the entire time, other than stepping out to some hotel lobbies and some pizza places.
Yep.
I don't know. I just feel like if I'm going to spend the money to go to a place like that I need to see the area and appreciate it for other things than just the show. Like even when we went to Atlanta Culture Collision 2 years ago, and we went out to Atlanta and went to the aquarium and to the little downtown area. I mean, that was fun. It was just a fun little getaway from the cards. The cards in the show was great, but the little extra stuff,
though, you're not going to do any of those things because we're going to hang out for 3 days. And I know you're going to say like, hey, I want to go do stuff in Chicago. The problem is like, in Atlanta, it was like a 5-minute drive to go to the aquarium. To get into Chicago, it's going to be an hour each way to get in there and try to do something. So apologies. I know that you want to do that, but that's not going to happen. You're going to be hanging out with us. So
we'll see.
Charles, thank you very much for logging in and on both Steve and mine. So maybe we can get double coverage here. I noticed that you're here, but you're also coming in on Steve's as well. So
I've got some people representing from my side right now. That's what I like to see.
Guys, make sure to log into all your fake accounts so that we can get this thing. Like, I want to be like Sports Card Radio with 500 people watching. So make sure you log into all 8 of your burner accounts, even the ones that you heckle me on. Log in. Let's get these numbers up. Tony, what's going on? Steve Dog C, what's going on, man? Henry S, Jason, Cards and Comics Slab Mag Crew forever. You're not kidding. The only place on the internet to get 10% off. Check the video description. I got the whole commercial down pat. But seriously, SlabMags, you buy $1,000 card, you got a $5,000 card. Steve, I don't know why you don't have your Willie Mays rookie card in a SlabMag. Makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Do they make SlabMags for SGC?
Yeah, of course they do.
Are you sure?
100%, man. Use my coupon code for 10%.
But then it's not a tux anymore, right? It's like a tux with some trim.
Well, a little bit of trim, but it's got the UV coating, so that sucker doesn't. That perfect face that you've got on the surface. Before you know it, it's going to be it's going to be like melting.
It's put away in a lock-proof box though. Like it's like I don't know.
I don't know. For me, I like, well, and I mean, you do too, like showcasing some stuff. You want to have some stuff on display, maybe not that card, but anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever, Steve, whatever.
I don't display a lot of cards, honestly. My cards, I kind of keep put away.
Okay. Steve, you are not a target customer for the Slab Mag, apparently.
Well, I might get some.
Yeah, you got to get
some of my cards that I want to keep, maybe.
Steve, I got to give you one of my stickers at the National since you gave me one in Dallas. So look out for Card Collector while we're out there.
Yeah, Prodigy Card Collector. I met him at the Dallas show, the first one, before the first National, when that Dallas show was huge. The first time I met you there.
Yeah.
And he walked up and I always really remember because he shook my hand and he was like RoboCop. I walked away and my hand felt like spaghetti noodles. I was like, good Lord.
How many people in the chat going to the National? Throw in the chat if you happen to be going to the National. And if you are, what are you looking forward to? Is there a specific card you're looking for? Have you ever been there before? Let us know in the chat. We're going right through the chat. I might get behind on the chat like usual, but we are chat focused tonight. Mike likes to party in Chicago and eating at Mr. Meat. I assume that is not a joke, and that's actually like a real butcher. I'm assuming that's like a real restaurant, but you never know. I'm packing for the Chicago National like Rambo. I don't know how to feel about that, Bob. I'm just waiting for the wife jokes to pop up here any second from Bob. The pizza will be fire. What's that one place that we went to last time? I know it started with a D. Oriano's. I'm just making stuff up. I have no idea. Orlando. What's going on? Orlando.
See, Dave says do the riverboat tour coming up next, which I thought I tried to do last time and I couldn't get anybody to go.
Unless there's a riverboat tour that goes right beside the convention center, Steve won't be going. He'll have all these plans like, I'm going to go here on Friday or whatever. No,
that morning we were ripping the 89 Pro Set football. I was like, man, let's go take a riverboat tour. And everybody was like, nah, let's not. I was like, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there might be some people that might join you, Steve, but it's not going to be me. All right, Chicago, careful with colors you wear. Go to the Nat, but go a few days early to sightsee. That would be a better option for you, Steve. Just go a couple days early before.
I'm going Wednesday.
All right, we'll go Wednesday then.
So I'll be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I mean, that's 4 days / nights of cards. If you have a budget, you better not spend it on Wednesday. You're going to be window shopping the rest of the week or trade nights.
Yeah,
I almost feel like I could spend the day doing stuff in the city and then going to the trade nights.
That's not acceptable. I'll be going as long as I win Steve's national giveaway contest. So there you go. Sean just needs to win. Speaking of, where are we at with the contest? Where are we at with it?
We are not very far. I mean, as far as we're not very far as getting people entered. I mean, the hotel and accommodations is booked and paid for. 3 nights is at the I think it's the O'Hare Marriott is already booked and paid for. So that's already booked and paid for, and there's like $500 so far to use towards whether it's a plane ticket or shopping or food, whatever. I mean, if someone wants it to use as travel expenses. they would have to get it and then take care of getting their plane tickets. I think you might be losing me.
No, I got you. I can hear you.
Okay. Because you can't,
Oh, and real quick, I have
Yeah.
upgraded. We have upgraded. The channel has upgraded thanks to you all in the chat supporting the SlabMags promotions. We are hardwired. We are hardwired.
Oh, you're hardwired.
We are hardwired.
See, I'm on Wi-Fi now.
I got an Ethernet cord and everything. I splurged. So I think it was like $15 for the adapter and the cord. So
spare no expense over there in the sports card dad.
No, we're 3 years in. We've upgraded the internet connection. All right.
Oh man, but yeah, but if someone needs like a plane ticket, I would have to send them that money to book their plane ticket because you need like private information and stuff to like book plane tickets and stuff. So that's how that would just work. And then yeah, that's it. We'll set up some, hangout time and things like that. And as far as getting people entered, I had a post on Instagram that anybody who responded to on that was automatically entered. And then one person would be drawn from that list and entered into like the final. And then I had one other, it might've been a YouTube short or something. Yeah. There's been a couple out there.
Short.
Oh, I had a poll, just a poll where you had to vote on the poll, but I asked people to comment on why they voted and what they voted for. And, I don't specifically say, hey, this is for getting you entered. You know what I mean? Because then everybody and their brother is going to comment.
Right.
I'm just saying, hey, follow the content, participate, and more than likely your comments and stuff are getting you entered in. If you're not commenting, then if you're not commenting or interacting with me on my social medias, then it's your own fault. You're not getting entered.
Yeah. And guys, I mean, if you look at, the amount of people that are participating, your chances are pretty high to actually win this. If you compare it to a lot of other things, and it's pretty decent. I mean, it's a decent, very decent trip. I mean, anyway, so cool. Steve, what's going on? Steve Elmore in the chat. Yeah, Rosemont, way more chill than Atlantic City. I learned that. Last year was my first time to Atlantic City, and it was an experience. I'll say that. You know what? It was fun, but I feel like it was fun because there was a gigantic card show there. If there wasn't, I don't know if I would necessarily go back. But anyway, we did the boardwalk. I feel like I've been to Atlantic City now. I've done that. I will say, though, that's a spot that really, it's obvious that it got hit hard with the pandemic. It still hasn't recovered, I don't think.
Atlantic City's just been hit hard by the economy in general, going back to 2010.
Oh, okay.
In 2010, lots of neighboring states were given license to develop casinos or to build casinos. The main draw to Atlantic City was the casinos, and then you had the beach there. But, the Jersey Shore isn't necessarily what I would call great, nice beaches to go visit. But you had the high-rise hotels and the casino resorts and things like that on the boardwalk there. That was the draw. And your main gambling places to go as far as tourist destinations were Atlantic City and Las Vegas. Yeah. But Atlantic City has lost that luster of being a place to go where people have to go to gamble, because now Pennsylvania, which is near New Jersey, Delaware, which is where I live, Maryland, the whole tri-state area that surrounds New Jersey has casinos popping up all over the place. So the casinos took big hits from that.
Struggling. Yeah.
And so that's why you even see some of the former casinos that have shut down, like the Showboat has turned into like a hotel, but it's got like games and stuff in the bottom. We were there. They had go-kart tracks and mini golf in the bottom. It's more like a place to take your family and stay. It's not a casino anymore.
Right.
The whole gaming floor all the slots and tables have been removed, and now it's like mini golf and go-kart tracks with a hotel above it. And that they're trying to advertise now in Atlantic City as oceanfront suites and things like that, but there's not really much to sell people on there as far as their beaches. As far as their beaches go, if the gambling in the hotel and the casinos aren't
that great.
You gotta
And
have
even
package.
your better casinos are even in now from the boardwalk, like the Borgata and Harrah's. They're blocks in. The boardwalk has just kind of lost its touch, and you can even tell by security and police presence and everything that's on the boardwalk now.
All right, let's stay focused, Steve. Mike's Card Museum has popped into the chat. Shout out. This is
Mike in the house.
Yeah, an oldie there.
OG.
Yeah, Wax Pack, what's going on? Michael Stone says, Neo just did a live. You guys have tough shoes to fill. Well,
so what did he do a live because we pushed back an hour?
Yeah, I think he was just
so he was like, I'm gonna steal that hour in there.
He's going to come on. Neo will probably come on the next one leading up to national. We are going to have him on here, probably the next one or the one after for sure. We'll have a pre-national with Neo on here just to kind of talk through plans and all that stuff.
And we can get that straight about that whole pizza story that he's telling about Atlantic City last year.
Yeah. SlabMags for the color match are cool for cards you display. Absolutely. Agreed. Charles has got 50 plus mag slabs. There we go. Vintage sports cards. Lose rocks. Okay. SlabMags are the crown molding of the hobby. There you go. So it will take up more room. Mike, you've got all that vintage stuff. You could probably use a couple SlabMags, just saying. All right, I'm off the SlabMags train. But you guys
you can't SlabMag vintage cards.
What are you talking about?
Well, I guess you can, but I mean, I don't know.
Hey, look, it's now in vogue. Now it's in vogue to have all your vintage cards.
Isn't the look of the vintage card supposed to be like the look of the card, and it's really what you want to focus on is that history that's inside that card, whether it be a good grade or a low grade. Like every vintage card has a story to tell.
Yeah, well, you don't want your vintage card fading in that slab. Anyway, it was the infomercial guy in the chat's going to say, Dustin, the infomercial guy, he's about to pop in, so I'll keep going. Anything to protect my SlabMags. Yeah, the pizza in Chicago. I'll be honest though, and I think we talked about it, Steve. But I'm more of a thin crust guy, so not
New York style
crust. Yeah,
New York style pizza is better. I mean, because it's like a snack, like a slice of pizza. Right.
I literally, that pizza that we had in Chicago, I ate that. We had that at like noon. I didn't even have dinner. Like I had like a slice and a half of that stuff, and that literally carried me through for about 24 hours.
It's supposed to be more like a meal.
It's more like a week's worth of food. They should just drop Chicago style pizza in third world countries, and we don't have to worry about like world hunger anymore. Just start packing that up and shipping it off, and let's help people. Ultra Slab Mag for the Slab Mag. That's right. Slab Mag surrounding your Slab Mag. Good idea. John Mangini, what's going on? Looking forward to the social aspect. I do have a reaction video coming out, John, to your video today. Trust me, it'll be nice, and there'll be some stuff thrown in there. I might have some nunchucks. I might have some nunchucks thrown into that video. But yeah, there will be a reaction video to today's video, maybe tomorrow or Friday.
The Michelangelo of the card collecting world. So you need a different weapon. If we're going to come up with the Teenage Turtles of the collecting world, you need to use the size or something.
Mangini's got nunchucks. I don't know. I guess I could have like a bow staff or something.
Then you would be Donatello then, right?
Yeah. I'm not great with the Raphael's got the size. Is that what they're called? Yeah.
The size.
Yeah, I'm not great with the size.
Which was originally a gardening tool used to pick weeds and turned into a weapon.
Sean's got 3 specific targets of the national. Do you care to share, Sean, or do you not want, are they?
I know, I was going to ask him.
Stuff? Yeah, it might be really rare stuff that you don't want to share. But if you want to share, throw it in there and we'll talk about it. All right, Vintage Card Collector's going with his 11-year-old. Awesome. Very cool. Giordano's. Pre-war baseball. Orlando, I assume you've been to the National before just because you're a longtime collector. Is that correct? And yeah, they have a lot of pre-war baseball stuff for sure. Carmine's used to be the Italian.
Sorry, I'm reading the comments. I was laughing.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm 10 minutes behind. 11 minutes behind. Giordano's is that. I think that's the one that's right across the street from the convention center. That place is good. Some of the after party VIPs will be on a boat. Got invited to one VIP thing. I don't think it's on a boat though. But maybe we'll get to go on the boat VIP thing, Steve.
I am not a VIP.
I'll talk to Ken Golden and see if we can get on the boat one. I thought about taking my wife to National, but I need car
Man,
space.
you put me on a boat with, I might jump off.
Was just in Chicago last year and got sick. My eyes are hurting. I can't see. I may go to the Anaheim show. I actually would like to go to that Burbank show. I think that's the one that Mike's talking about, the Anaheim. They've like upgraded it. I would like to go to that show. I just don't know if I'm going to make it this year. If Sean wins Steve's national contest, plan on bringing my wife, try to convert her as she hates sports cars, looking for cheap, raw to grade worthy stuff in the event that happens. So is that like a marriage saving trip? Are you putting pressure on Steve to make this trip happen? So you're bringing your wife to convert her into cars? I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. What's up, Cody? Good to see you. Are you going to go to the national, Cody? Are you going? I know, Mike, you are not leaving the area, Steve. We're rolling with big dogs, new parties to crash.
I don't know. Yeah, I know. What's he talking about? Who's the big dogs we rolling with?
Mike's got the hookup, apparently.
Does Mike got the hookups?
That's what he's saying. We'll shift over real quick. I know that 400 different videos have been made on Fanatics and PWCC. Actually, I'm going to go back to a message that I got, a direct message I got from a viewer that was like, hey, there's a couple of points I want to point out that I haven't heard anybody really talk about. So I'm going to read these off. Shout out to Sean. Will Fanatics use the PWCC auction portal or apply for reinstatement with eBay? Using their own portal cuts out eBay fees and regulations, but eBay would add eyes to auctions. And I guess the other question is, would eBay want to work with Fanatics, a Fanatics-owned company? Because they're starting to become more, the ecosystem's getting smaller. We're really talking about now eBay, collectors, and Fanatics are like the three monsters, the three-headed monster, and there's everybody else kind of, in the ecosystem. And so I guess my question would be is, would eBay work with Fanatics, or would they not give them the opportunity? You would think like, oh, eBay might want that business, but they might not want that business. I don't know. Would it be wise for people to lighten up on what they sell on auctions for the next couple of months in anticipation of PWCC needing to close out non-performing loans prior to the merger close? Interesting take there by Sean. Thanks for sending that to me, Sean. If you do watch this, I appreciate it. But yeah, those are kind of interesting. The whole loan thing with PWCC is kind of the big elephant in the room of like, so I know Jeff Wilson had talked about it as well, as that was kind of the downfall. Do you know anything about this, Steve, where basically PWCC was giving out collateralized loans against cards? So people have 50,000 of cards worth and they took out 25 grand against it. But then basically as cards go underwater, they're not paying stuff back. Then from what I understand, PWCC can sell other cards you have in the vault. So it's like you have 100 cards, you take 20 of your cards and say, all right, I'm taking out a loan against these 20. Those other 80 that are in the vault can also be brought into that transaction to pay your bills, essentially. That's how I understood it. Maybe I'm wrong, but Steve, thoughts? PWCC Fanatics.
As somebody that doesn't deal with PWCC like at all, like a lot of the stuff you just talked about, like I couldn't tell you how that loan stuff works, other than I know that they were collateral cards. It would make sense that they would have some kind of like, I guess what you would call a fail safe for cards that dipped below whatever value they were putting on them and giving the loan for. But then again, isn't that kind of like a risk that they would be taking? And if they have confidence to give you a loan and they have confidence in your collateral, then if your collateral loses value, then why would they be able to then basically attach, for lack of a better term, attach your wages, basically take it out of something else, because the item that they had confidence in before, it's a judgment decision by them as well to give that loan on something. But
yeah,
it would also make sense for a company like that to protect themselves with something like that also. I just don't think anybody should like
get loans on their cards.
It's a lesson. It's a lesson against leverage. Anytime you're taking leverage on anything, I mean, we've talked about that too. There's people that did it with crypto. There's people that do it with their house. I mean, going back to 2008, and I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent quickly, but there was a lot of people where home prices went up in 2008. They took out huge home equity lines because they had all this equity in their house. And then what happened? There was a correction. Houses go down in price. Got all this equity out on it, and what a lot of people are doing too is subprime mortgage, and then they're taking equity out and they're buying another house with another subprime mortgage. So you now own multiple homes that you might not be able to actually afford, and then you have this kind of catastrophe.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of what happened with cards here.
Yeah, I mean, the thought would never cross my mind to use like a PWCC or even like an InvestaCard that was doing something similar where they were giving people loans on their cards. The thought would never cross my mind to do something like that. So I don't really dive into the details of it because I don't report on stuff. If I reported on stuff, then I would dive into the details so I could give the knowledge to people. So maybe I'm sitting here looking dumb because I don't have the answers, but it's just something I would never think about doing. So I don't even look at the options and the offerings and the rules behind it and everything else.
Yeah, stay conservative. I think is probably good advice, especially now when we're in high interest rate environment. I mean, any sort of loan right now is going to be more expensive than it has been in over a decade, 15 years. It's just getting more and more expensive. I thought the average mortgage 30-year fixed is at 7% right now. 7% for a 30-year fix. And look, that's crazy high compared to what it's been, but that was normal going back 20 years. I mean, it's just we've been in such a low interest rate environment forever that people just don't realize that. My parents bought a house in 1981, their first house, and the mortgage rate was like 18%. It was again during a high interest rate, high inflation environment.
Oh, I know. I just bought a home in this after interest rates started going up.
But you got in before it, you got your house before it's really gone up.
I'm not too far off from that 7 that you're talking about.
All right. Steve got gypped. Just kidding, Steve. All right.
I'm like at 6,
All right. Well, whatever. I mean, life goes on. This is my first national. I'll be selling all my T-Laws that I got in at the absolute bottom. I do think Trevor Lawrence is going to be hot. I think he will be one of those kind of pre-national, or not pre-national, preseason guys. There's a lot of excitement around. I think that's obvious, just the way that his season ended. I'm not sure. I didn't read this before I put it up here, Bob, so it better be kosher. I have to pour gravy on her double cheeseburger pyramid. It's quite the chore. I'm not going to read between the lines. We're just going to move on, Bob. And I'm going to skip over Mike's reaction comments to that.
Yeah, we're 17 minutes behind on comments. So
all right,
I don't know if you want to.
I'm going to skip past Mike and Bob's bantering, and we'll keep going. Atlantic City, clubs, tables, bars, and maybe the card show. Yeah, Charles, you better be out there in Chicago. We'll have a few drinks. I live about 90 minutes from Atlantic City and still didn't want to go last year. Okay, fair enough. Okay, yeah, it's been in decline for 2 decades since PA opened casinos. There you go. That's kind of like what you were talking about, Steve.
Yeah.
Who needs a casino when you have Fanatics? And that's actually a good point. All the casinos might be called Fanatics casinos before long, but
Geez, it's been 13 years since Delaware allowed casinos. And we're right on Jersey.
What's going on, Dominic? Good to see you. Yeah, I'm mostly jealous that Mangini has more cards sent to him than I think he actually picks up himself. It's kind of amazing. No, shout out to Mangini, John Mangini Collection. Check out his YouTube channel. All right. What do you think of Millie Bobby Brown being at the Atlanta Stranger Things convention now? Is there an Atlanta Stranger Things convention? What is that all about? Something sports cards? I don't know anything about it. They are filming in Atlanta. So, well, they're supposed to. I know there's the writer's strike. Maybe she's just hanging out there until they finish the strike. I'm not really sure. I didn't know that there was a Stranger Things convention. So let me know in the chat or reach out to me directly. That's pretty cool. What's going on, Global? Good to see you. Wax Pack Junk Wax Era 2.1, not even 2.0. We're beyond 2.0. Cheers, Ziggy. I don't know if Mangini's talking about collector investor or if he's talking about vehicles, but I do have an Avalon hybrid. Actually, my wife drives it, but we have a hybrid in the house if that's what we're talking about. What's up, Nugs Cards? Good to see you. The Nuggets. That's right, the Nuggets. You've been talking about the Joker Nugs Cards for a while, and it's happening. It's all happening.
Yeah. What about the NBA? The NBA Finals.
On the SlabMags. Oh, yeah, we'll go back to, sorry, Steve. I get 10%. So if they're $20, $2 a SlabMag. So, yeah, it's not exactly a 9-figure bank account, friends, but we're working. We're always working. And honestly, I just really like the product. So I like talking about that product because I enjoy the product itself. That's really kind of the big thing. It's not a massive money-making venture. And I think it's fun to promote. New Jersey pizza is the best. Yeah, Mangini is Italian, so the thin crust makes sense. Jokic better than LeBron. He looked, yeah. It's kind of the Joker's time. Steve, do you want to talk about NBA Finals? The Celtics miracle.
Well, my Celtics kind of like getting their asses handed to them. I'm going to say Heat in 7, and then Nuggets in 6.
It's really hard to think the Nuggets are not going to win the whole thing. You know, whoever it is, Celts or Heat. Mangini needs some SlabMags. Keep talking to him. Raul, what's going on? Deep dish is better. Yeah, if you're going to eat it, I mean, it's like one. If you're on the if you're intermittent fasting and you're doing the 1 meal a day thing, then deep dish is perfect for you because all you have to do is have one slice of deep dish and you're good. Your calorie intake is all good. All right, we got into. I'm going to skip past some of the pizza, deep dish, Mac and Monco's. Trader Griff's, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Anything from Chicago is garbage. Yeah, throwing stars. There we go. Oh, we got. Okay, nunchuck advice. Thank you, Vintage Sports Cards. I'm not going to the National this year. Dustin, can I give you a shopping list for me? Yeah, I don't know. I might have to do one of those advanced loans, like the payday loans, Joe, to where you pay interest or something. And why aren't you going, Joe? Come on, let's get with the program. I should have Ryan Nolan shop for me. I just think the prices for what I want are high. Fair enough. Well, especially you got in early too, Mike, to where I'm sure prices for everything feel high. Yeah, Burbank Card Show is on the list. Steve, you have interest in the Burbank Card Show at some point, or is that just kind of like too far to deal with it being West?
Like, again, going like I just said about the National, I would be going to California to go to California. And then if there was a card show going on, I would stop in. So maybe schedule it around the time of the card show, but it wouldn't be, hey, I'm going to California to go to the Burbank show. You know what I mean? I would be like, okay, the Burbank show was on this date. I want to go to California, so I'll just schedule my trip around that time. Spend a week in California and go to the Burbank show when it's going on, as opposed to making it a point as the Burbank show being my reason for going.
Yeah, I would be so curious to find out what this buyout program looked like with PWCC. I've heard rumors that there was $70 million of loan debt. And again, like without seeing kind of the balance sheet and what you know their revenues are, but 70 million feels like a lot for basically like loans against cards. I mean, I wonder how that was structured. I can't imagine. I mean, obviously, Fanatics must have picked up that debt. So I mean, I don't know what's left over really. I mean, like I'd love to know kind of the details of that buyout. Probably will never be public, but it'd be really interesting to see that. Sean, I was scouting out graded Jim Brown rookies and on-card auto cards like the 01 SP Sign of the Times for the past few months. Was actually doing so when the news broke Friday. Yeah. You know what, though? Jim Brown's autos have been expensive for a while. You know, I mean, I've been looking at Jim Brown autographs for a couple of years, and even like the Sign of the Times has never been an inexpensive card. I don't know. I've always just felt like those are priced very high. I mean, not that they shouldn't be, but I just never felt like there was some amazing deals, especially on like Sign of the Times stuff. But the 2030 PWCC staff fired 3 weeks ago get rehired by Fanatics, or that might have been that also might have been part of the deal. Is that like by Fanatics is that PWCC had to trim some payroll. I don't know. They might have already been in talks. Yeah, the loans were the death nail. Yeah, the Jim Brown hype, unfortunately, probably you just have to wait it out. It'll probably be a couple of months, and then it's on to the next thing.
I would say no less than 3 months, no longer than 6, maybe. I mean, look back to Bill Russell. Bill Russell was less than a year ago because he passed away at the final day of the National last year, right? So, look at that.
What's going on, Jordan? Bob knows a lot about leverage. It helps him lift his wife into the air. Fair enough. Fair enough. You know who Bob Boozle reminds me of is Triggerfinger. Is Bob Boozle actually Triggerfinger, or is Triggerfinger no? Do you remember Triggerfinger in the chat?
Yeah, of course. I had Triggerfinger on my live stream once.
Is Bob Boozle Triggerfinger reimagined with a new name or a different account or whatever? Because it's all the like witty, bantery type stuff. It just feels familiar. I don't know. It feels like 2021 Triggerfinger. I own over 100 Jokic PSA 10s of every type. Should I sell now or hold for this future dynasty? Steve, do you have a take on this? 100. I don't know. For me, I feel like, and I like to buy multiples so that I do have options. I feel like if you've got over 100, then you've got some options to sell into some of the hype. If the prices do really start to move up. I haven't been keeping track of his prices, so I don't know what's going on. But Steve, do you have a take here?
I mean, it depends. I mean, what are you hoping for out of Nikola Jokic long term? Do you think he wins a title this year and that's it? I mean, we know cards go down of players immediately after they win a title. In order for the cards to hold any long-term value, or have longevity, a player has to put together a long legacy, and then they also have to transcend an era. Does he fall into the category of this guy was great from 2015 to 15 years? Say he has a 15-year career. This guy was a great player from 2015 until 2025, and then towards the last 5 years of his career, he dwindles out like most veterans do. And then he retires and becomes a Hall of Famer, because there's lots of guys out there that fall into that category, that have a title, that are in the Hall of Fame. And unless they transcend generations, these guys from 10, 20, 30 years ago, even longer, nobody necessarily cares about. You can relate it to any sport. I just bought a Frank Robinson rookie card. When you look at his stats all time and look at what he's done in baseball, but look at the value of his cards, doesn't make a whole lot of sense, other than the fact that he just didn't transcend generations like a Babe Ruth or like a Willie Mays or a Mickey Mantle, or in basketball like a Michael Jordan, a Larry Bird, a Magic Johnson, a Wilt Chamberlain. Is he that type of player that 40 years from now, when he's done and maybe pushing, how old is he? When he's 75 years old, is he still going to be relevant in the hobby? Or is he just another great player that's retired and in the Hall of Fame, like a Bob Cousy or something like that, that people just, that would be where do you think he's going? Do you think he's going to be one of the top 20 players or top 10 players that ever play the game? Or do you think he's a Hall of Famer and a top 100 player ever? Because there's a big difference in relevance.
And he's a big
right. So for me, and I don't have any stock in Nikola Jokic cards, but for me, he's probably a sell, because I don't know if he's, who was the last big man to really transcend.
Shaquille O'Neal, but his cards were junk wax era. And then you got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But is he Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Is he going to go down in history as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Is he going to go down in history as Akeem Olajuwon? Because if he goes down in history as Akeem Olajuwon, his stuff's not going to be super valuable. And Akeem is considered a top 10 player of all time by many. So, even Tim Duncan. So just ask yourself, and what do people say about Tim Duncan? Oh, well, he's boring. Well, Jokic is kind of boring too, to be honest. He's a great player. I'm not taking away from his talent. But what is going to make him stay relevant for the next 25, 30 years?
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. It's a good take. Charles, I think we have the same loan. It's just about right where we are at about the same time. Just got lucky there, timing it up. Look at Pop Reports, Nuggets contract outlook over the next 3 years. And just because you have so many of them, you've got options. I mean, if you have over 100, you've got options. Johnny, what's going on? All right, they're talking about mortgage loans and refis. Stacked for the future. Everyone wants to play with Joker because he gives you free buckets. Jamal Murray finally healthy, playing well. So that's good news. I think it's just a year for the Nuggets. It just feels like it's the year, but there's a lot of guys too that have kind of that 1 or 2 seasons, and then it's tough to win multiple championships. It's just tough. Who Dat Comics and Movies? Well, shout out to, I assume you're in New Orleans, Who Dat Comics. I'm obviously Saints fan, so welcome. Yes, I've been collecting graded comics since 2018. Soft on comics, we're starting to pick up again. I've been looking at comics, but you know what I've been picking up too that's also a very soft market? Graded video games, and specifically NES, Black Box NES titles. So the first 30 games that came out for NES, I've been collecting those. And it's been really fun. And again, that's kind of a market where it kind of like shot up, shot down, and now you've got kind of like this, these price points where there's some kind of a very soft market. So if you're watching auctions and different things, there's some cool stuff out there. But again, that's just that's my nostalgia, and also I think that they'll be relevant down the road because they are the original 30. But again, I don't think it's going to be like 52 Tops Mantle money down the road or anything, but it's still fun to collect those.
For me, it's been the original Star Wars series, 1977. That's when they started, but the original Star Wars series in high grade, key issues, and then Strange Tales, Silver Age, mid grade.
Is that what you're looking at those?
Keys. Yeah, and I've even picked some up. I just don't talk about them.
Yeah, I don't talk because people don't really care about graded video games on this channel as much. So I put it on my Instagram. So I'll post it on Instagram. I'm at Sports Card Dad. If you haven't connected with me on Instagram yet, but that's where I really post a lot of my.
Oh, man, I was talking about comics.
Oh, yeah, I know. But
the Star Wars comics and the Strange Tales.
Yeah. Here's someone else is offering loans for Investacard. Yeah, Eddie and Investacard, PWCC, Enron of cards. I think they just bit off more than they could chew. They actually probably had a pretty good thing going with the technology and their platform and everything. That's really kind of the asset of the business. The loan part was where they took a risk and it just went flat big time.
So PWCC, did they have their own auction platform prior to being booted off eBay?
They were just starting it up.
They were starting it up because a lot of people thought that was kind of not a conspiracy, but that was kind of one of the reasons why eBay just went ahead and booted them, because now they also looked at them as competition, not just as another seller using eBay. Because to kick them off strictly for what they said was shilling, I mean, eBay could probably kick off 50% of their sellers or more if they were just kicking people off for suspicion of shilling, even some of the bigger consigners and stuff on there. So a lot of people kind of thought And it was a reasonable thought to be like, okay, well, they're about to become direct competition with eBay. So, of course, eBay is going to try to give them a black eye and kick them off and say, look, they've been kicked off for shilling. Why would you want to use their platform? Now, not saying they were innocent, not saying that they were innocent of shilling, but did the punishment fit the crime? And if the punishment did fit the crime, why are they the only ones that have faced any kind of punishment that we're aware of?
Yeah, it is interesting because you have to assume that, well, we do know it. Just eBay is, there's that sort of thing has happened over time, a variety of different sellers. So it can't be just, just that one. Obviously, PWCC was the largest or one of the largest back when they got the boot. But yeah, okay. This stinks. Something sports cards. I'm actually going to be out of town. My grandfather's funeral. We had kind of a delayed funeral. We're going up to Vermont that weekend, so we are unfortunately going to be out of town. Or else I would have probably looked into. Atlanta's a 4-hour drive from my house, but I'll take a look and see. I know they do different Stranger Things events in Atlanta that I want to go to as well. So, but we'll have to check that out. Thanks for letting me know, though. I'll definitely Google and see if there's other stuff going on with it. Heat in 7. Oh, Heat in 7. Come on, bro. So Bob thinks that it's going to be over before 7. Dex Flow, what's going on? And an OG for the channel. And Dex Flow I really like kind of your style, Dex, because you're like me. You collect a variety of different things. So he moved on from sports cards to just collectibles in general. So if it feels like there's value there, then he's looking at, and just also to collect the stuff. But you're talking about like first issues. You're talking about, I've talked to Dex about graded action figures and graded comic books, all these different things. So I think that's pretty cool.
I mean, if the stuff is fun and has some kind of appeal to me, it will always have some kind of collectability to it. Now, some stuff I don't have the knowledge and, such to go in and buy, say, an action figure or even a video game to say, hey, I'm buying this as a high-end collectible to put away because I think it's going to have value in the future, as opposed to like me going down to the vintage toy store, the one that we went to, and buying some 1970s Star Wars action figures that are loose. You know what I mean? That are not even in the package or anything, because that's fun to buy those, for $5 to $10 a piece and just to have them and put them away. So that's kind of collecting, but it's not collecting for something that I think may be valuable. It's just collecting because I think that they're really cool. So I guess there's different ways that you can approach your collecting.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
All my Rui cards got consigned when he got traded to the Lakers.
Okay.
I think I answered this question in the last live stream too. But probably somebody else asked it.
Man, everyone's buying Joker cards, or they have done. Len Dawson autos are cheap again. I don't hear. I think I do have one Len Dawson autograph card. You don't hear him get talked about very much.
They used to have the television shows, and I can't remember who did the voiceover, but they always had they were like on ESPN, and they would concentrate on like a team from like, say, the 70s or a player, and the whole show would be about them or that team. And people would get educated like that if they watch those shows on some of the all-time greats, the all-time greats that didn't transcend eras. Shows like that don't happen anymore is kind of another reason why, even with all the crazy social media and stuff that we have, shows like that you don't see on ESPN and such anymore are another reason why there are some great players that just getting forgotten about. I don't know if you remember the shows that I'm talking about. I can't even remember the name of the shows, but they used to always come on like after school, and I would learn about old football players from watching that show. And they would be players I didn't know.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what we're talking about, but that's interesting.
They do like 30 minutes of Jim Brown, or they would do like a show of, they would do like the Kansas City Chiefs, and then they would have like Hank Stram, the coach, on there, and they would talk about the 64 toss power trap play. And I don't know if you don't remember, they had the whole John Madden one. There was the history of John Madden as a coach, and they did them all the time with the teams.
I wish John Madden had auto cards. I don't think he has any, or, I mean, like pack pulled stuff, that we're in. I mean, I'm sure he probably signed like, in person stuff, but he doesn't really have anything like that. That I found anyway.
So if Denver can rip off 3 championships over the next 4 years, but then again, does he fall into the category of Tim Duncan, which is somebody that nobody really talks about, because Tim Duncan has the championships, Shaq has the championships, does get talked about. But
I think the bigger thing I think the biggest thing that you said too is just that he's not flashy. He doesn't have that personality. He's a little bit more kind of reserved, or somewhat boring, for just a lack of a better word. But
like Tim Duncan, I think that's a good comparison. Now, I'm not saying accolades. Tim Duncan, again, probably one of the greatest power forwards, if not the best, like ever. But people don't talk about him like he's the top power forward of all time. They may say it. Okay, people may say it. They may acknowledge it, but they don't. His cards don't hold the value that of that.
Picked up my PSA 62. They're talking about 62 Mays. Smash that like. Thank you, Cody. Appreciate you.
Yeah,
and far behind. Here we go.
And a quick question, like wax. Is anybody finding wax on their? My dog's out of it. Is anybody finding wax at their Walmarts or their Targets or anything? I never found any of the Monopoly. Was it Monopoly was basketball, right? I never found any of the Monopoly basketball prism. And I know people were finding that, or I don't know if they were buying it online. But one thing that hit me the other day, because I haven't bought wax in a while, because I just don't bust it. And sometimes I will find a product at Walmart or so that is a product you would break. For example, I got a Prism basketball blaster, right? So a lot of people talk about flipping retail is dead, which it is. Flipping retail is dead. But they say the reason why is the overprinting. It's so easy for everybody to get because it's overprinted. Again, true statement. I'm not saying that that's not true. But one of the biggest things that I think makes it non-flippable anymore is the increase in price. And I haven't bought a blaster in so long. I didn't know what this was going to ring up at. And Walmart stickers on the shelf are randomly placed all over there.
Right.
The last time I bought a blaster, I want to say it might have been $20. This rang up at $34.95 or whatever. So $35. Let's call it $35. That's a 75% increase in price.
Yeah.
Which makes it unflippable.
Yeah.
If it was still $20 and someone could get 40 for it on eBay, they would still go, they would buy all of them out and they would double their money on eBay. Now it doesn't make it worth their while after fees, after shipping and everything, to buy it up to flip retail. So I think it's a combination of stuff. It's the fact that, yes, it is getting massively produced. People don't necessarily want it as bad as they used to. There's not as many people in the hobby because the pandemic's over. But the price raise, Panini saw that people could make money off flipping their retail. So instead of allowing other people to make that money, they just raised the price themselves. And they said, well, if they can make $40 off selling a blaster, then so can we.
Yeah.
So that's just a thought, that I had as somebody that rarely buys wax. And so to see the increase in price, I just think that that's another huge factor. Doesn't get talked about enough as much as the overprinting and things do.
Yeah. So that is really true. I mean, the company's kind of smartened up. They saw, wait a second, there's a huge secondary market for these items. So let's make sure that we get our retail price up and get a piece of that, get a piece of that pie. And they absolutely have done that.
Okay. So Matt H in the comments says MJ Holdings sets the price, but I'm going to guess that Panini sets the price to which they sell it to the distributor at.
Right. It all flows downhill.
Right.
The Derek Carr experiment, I can't wait for it. I can't wait. I'm going to the Bucks game in New Orleans with my brother for his birthday, actually, in October. So looking forward to that. Probably go to a couple games this year in New Orleans, and then we'll go to the Panthers game to watch Cam Jordan throw what is his name, Bryce Young. Did you see all the memes with Bryce Young? He looks like he looks like a kid out there. Like he walks behind the offensive line and then he just vanishes. I'm excited to watch the Saints this year. The Derek Carr experiment, honestly, if it doesn't work in New Orleans, I just don't think it works anywhere because our division just is not very good. I mean, we have a halfway decent roster. We're not terrible. So, if it can't work for Derek Carr in New Orleans, I think that's going to be the end for his career. He's got kind of these 4 years, and then he's either going to kind of blossom or he's going to be a backup from there on out.
Let's see.
For running out.
Trying to see what our likes would be sitting at. Yours would be sitting higher because more people watch on your channel. But when we get to a certain amount of likes, I'll rip this Prism Blaster and give it away.
Oh, there you go. Hit the like button so we can give away Prism cards.
Let's see where we're at so that we can
not
see.
Really we. It's more Steve. Oh, the Panthers. Florida Panthers going to the finals. I haven't been paying attention to hockey, and I should be.
All right.
Yeah.
So you got 30 likes, counting me just now, but I don't know what's your in-room count at. 77?
I don't know. I'm showing. I don't know because I can only see the combined right now. It's at 102. So yeah, that's about right.
Okay. I don't know. We get to 50. If we're at 30, we get to 50. I'll rip this and then give it away to somebody. If there's a hit in here, I'll give it away. But I'm not going to mail out a $1 card.
That's fair enough.
To Canada, which I had to do before. Like one time, I ripped Mosaic football, and I was like, I'll give this away, and it was a card that was like $2, and then it cost me like $18 to like ship it to Canada or something. I was like, awesome. How about if I just send you a $20 bill in the mail?
Card New Orleans. Yeah, and will Michael Thomas play? If Michael Thomas is healthy and plays, and we should be good to go. Even if he doesn't, I think that we'll be fine. But if we can get a healthy Michael Thomas for a year, I think that we'll be all right. But we'll see. Oh, I'm at the end of the comments. Look at that. I'm at the end of chat.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm right there at the end.
Oh, holy everybody must have fell asleep listening to you talk. And now
Probably.
And now they stopped commenting.
Yeah, once it went to Derek Carr and the Saints, they immediately left.
I'm starting to open this because I have confidence. I have confidence in our viewership that we will get to 50 likes.
All right. Here. Come up, say hi. Oh, Spreetzel. Hi,
Spritzel is awake.
Yeah, Spreetzel.
Daisy is over here. She's kind of looking at me.
I thought she's like a little bit closer, but
I'm trying not to make too much noise. They only put, is it 5? They put 6 packs. They're gold. If only we could get gold prisms in here, numbered out of 10.
Are they in there or no? No, they're not, right?
Well, I mean, you could pull one. It says find 3 blaster exclusive ice prisms. Ice baby. So this is 22, 23. So I guess Paolo Banchero is the. Hey, chat. Who else is worth getting out of last year's or this year's product other than Paolo Banchero? Who else is there? Is there at least 3 names worth getting? Is this product worth having?
I am the cool Colston Auto Sports Card Coalition, but a lot of them I've seen are sticker autos, or he's in his Hofstra uni, where it's like I really want like a cool Saints on-card auto, but I haven't really. Now, granted, I haven't been like scouring the internet or shows for it, but haven't found the right one yet. All right, we're getting shout outs to open it.
So I see Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Matherin. I don't know. So
Not buying up Michael Thomas cards, Matt. I bought a couple last year just for fun. And yeah, I ended up selling them as soon as he had like a couple of good games. I sold them because I was like, you know what? I just don't feel like he's going to make it through the season. And so I moved out of them. But it was literally a couple of cards. So nothing.
I should probably be mute when I'm ripping the pack open. It's probably annoying sounding.
Yes, it is kind of annoying.
Probably annoying. All right. Miles Turner. Garbaggio. Alex Caruso. That's the Ice Baby Prism. So it's gone from cracked ice to something that's like worthless. Remember, cracked ice used to be really low numbered.
We're not exactly loot box opening up packs.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, guys.
That guy's not a rookie? Nope. It's a silver. Some Alashki something. Well, we won't have to worry about doing a giveaway if we don't get a hit in here. What would be considered a hit? Any one of those rookies or an autograph or anything? An autograph of anybody, doesn't matter.
Do they have autographs in the retail box?
Man, I don't know. I don't open it.
35 does seem high.
It's high. It is high. Tyler Hero. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. You're supposed to yell, that's fire. No cap.
Zach LaVine.
No cap.
Patrick Baldwin Jr. Emergent. He must be a rookie. Jaren Jackson Jr. Remember that guy?
Oh,
remember when Jaren Jackson Jr. was like, everybody get your Jaren Jackson Jr. cards?
He was one of those guys. Him and
he was one of them.
Who was the Knicks guy? Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson.
I don't remember that. I never was on the Mitchell Robinson train.
I made a few bucks off of Mitchell Robinson cards.
This is boring. Keldon Johnson, ice, not worth getting. Hey, Zion Williamson Green. Who's that?
Oh my God, Zion.
Hey, look at the big brace on his leg.
Honestly, that would be like,
perfect.
I swear, if Blaise Breaks pulled that, they would be screaming their head off.
Here's a base rookie, Blake Wesley. Don't even know who that is.
Sports Card Coalition. If you're on IG, can you please reach out to me at Sports Card Dad? I'd like to see a picture of the Colston auto you've got.
Let's see. Come on, let's get something here. You guys see, I'm doing this to show you how to not spend $35. And in one of my upcoming videos, I'll be showing you how to not spend $1,000. Anybody who watched my most previous video knows that I prospected $1,000 into a player. And no good or bad has happened yet. So Jalen Green has been his second year now. Who's Chet Holmgren? I don't think that's a rookie for him either, is it?
Yeah, I think it is.
Some kind of insert.
That's the main guy, right? Isn't that like one of the top picks?
Chet Holmgren?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the guy that got hurt.
Was he this year or last year? He's on Oklahoma City. He's a really tall guy, tall, thin guy.
Yeah. That was I think you just got the best hit in the entire checklist.
I don't know if that card is. I mean, it's like an insert. I don't know if it's it's not shiny.
You're supposed to scream, "Let's go" or something.
Let's go.
Let's go. Oh. Man, we would be some fiery breakers. If people would tune in for like.
Hey, man, remember those old Facebook breaks I used to do? It had the card casino in it, and you got to roll the dice and everything.
That was good. But
I included all kinds of like other cards in there. Where if you got into the card casino special, like you drew the card casino card, then you got a random card, and it would be like an actual hit. So you were guaranteed to get something.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that was fun. The only break I've ever done is with Steve. That one time going back 3 years ago.
Jason Preston. There's a green Obi Toppin. Man. See, I opened this so you don't have to. So you don't have to go spend $35. I'm sitting here and I'm like, what could I have bought with $35? And I'm just thinking card-wise. I could have bought some Mike White cards, backup for the Miami Dolphins. That's not the guy that I spent $1,000 on, but I'm saying I could have probably bought a couple nice Mike White cards, right?
Yeah, probably his best cards.
This is, by the way, this is the last.
Well, this is the last pack. My God.
Already. Wendell Carter, Evan Fournier, Jalen Duren, emergent. It's not even a regular card. Not Nikola. This guy's like a Nikola Jokic ripoff. This guy's name is Nikola Jovic.
Oh, you got a counterfeit. You got a fake
Nikola Jovic. He's a rookie on the Heat. Nikola Jovic.
Trader Griff said
Nikola Jovic.
the fact that we both don't have headbands on.
Oh my god.
The fact that we're wearing shirts and don't have a headband on, this is bogus. It's a bogus break.
Man, what an uneventful waste of $35.
So it's the last time people tune in to watch us open packs.
See, now I can understand people saying, well, opening packs is fun. You get enjoyment out of it. So even if you don't pull anything, your $35 was entertaining and things like that, which fair enough. But when I'm opening a product that I don't even know what players I'm expecting to get out of it, I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm just like, so it's like,
But the thing is, like, I would rather, if I'm going to spend $30 on a blaster box or $30 on a box of 56 packs of 89 Pro Set, I want to open 89 Pro Set and spend the $25 on that box that's got 7,000 cards in it because they had 15 cards in a pack, and look for Barry Sanders rookies or whatever. I mean, like, I just don't. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Look, Sean Redmond says, I'm pulling Heat. Yep, literally, I was pulling Heat. Nikola Jovic is on the Heat. Miami Heat.
Part
the
of
only Heat that I pulled.
Going to a Cubs game, checking out downtown Chicago to break up the cards. Oh, Rick, don't give him any ideas.
You see? Great minds think alike.
All right, guys, we started later because Steve needed to start later because he, had family stuff. So we started at 10 instead of 9. It's 11:10 Eastern, and I'm an old man. So we are going to wrap up here fairly soon. Steve, any other topics? Yes, he did. Steve dipped the big card. Notice how the cards weren't on camera? Doesn't that seem a little suspicious to you?
Man, crazy, right?
All the Chet Holmgrens or whatever the Holmgrens are, they all got dipped. I knew Steve was going to do that. What do you have going on card wise coming up? Any targets for you, Steve, over the next week or so that you want to talk about, or you want to wrap? What do you think?
Targets have remained unchanged because I haven't obtained any of those vintage cards I was talking about. I did pick up a nice personal collection card, which you saw on Instagram. I'm waiting to get that because it had to go through eBay authentication. So don't have it yet. You know how the eBay authentication program works. You buy a card, you get it 3 weeks later. So yeah, but it's a cool card. You saw the picture I sent you on Instagram. You remember? It's a dual immaculate auto out of 25 on card.
Are you sure you sent it to me?
I'm sure. You see how you are. You don't even check.
Dude, there's nothing there. When did you send it?
Yes, there is. You responded to it.
Oh, you sent it to me and to Rob. Okay, hold on a second. Yeah. I won't say what it is.
What do you have bots? You have bots returning my comments or commenting on my post now?
I've got 4 kids, so I've got the kids that just respond to
Links did that?
Yeah, Links was the one that
was
talking smack about the one auto. No, that's a really cool card. It's very cool.
So it's a really cool card. I like it. Now the thing is that one person that's on there, I had a really nice card of him already. So now it's kind of like, you know how I do with my PC. Do I move that one in and move the other one out? Recoup some of the money I spent. Actually, the one that I already have is worth about 3 times more on the secondary market than the one that I just bought. But the one that I just bought, I like better.
Okay.
So the card I just picked up was like $477. I won at auction, so close to $500.
The one that you sent me?
Yeah, the photo that I sent you. Okay. The one that I picked up at the National last year, that's a different card, has the same person on it, is about a $1,500 card.
Oof.
So I'm like, man, I think I got a better card at a third of the price into my collection. Do I just keep them both, or does one of them become trade/sell? I mean,
right. Yeah, the dual on-card auto stuff is nice. And I won't say what it is, but you kind of went like off sport a little bit. It's not like the typical stuff
Right.
that you see.
And that one's a Panini redemption. So it comes encased from Panini. And are all 25 of those going to be redeemed? They probably hold a couple back for damage purposes.
Yeah.
So how many of those are actually going to hit the market out of the 25? How many of them are going to be available, first of all, and then available from the manufacturer? And then how many of those available from the manufacturer are actually not stashed into collections? Because mine's going into a collection, and I could guess anybody else that obtained that card.
Oh yeah,
Probably are going to hold on to it.
Yeah, it's not a flip card.
Right.
Yeah, that was a good buy.
And we've talked it up so much that when people see it, they're going to be like, "Oh, this is what we were talking about." Lame.
Well, it's also in vogue. It's in vogue right now with everything. Yeah, like with there's big sales going on and stuff. So yeah, it's a fairly safe card and it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we are going to wrap it. It's 11:13 and I'm 42 years old. So, and it's a Wednesday. So we're gonna shut it down, kind of shut down the engines, recharge the batteries a little bit. Steve, any parting words that you would like to share?
Yeah, man, you're 42. I thought I was way older than you than that, man. You catch me every year. Every year you get a year closer to me. And then every year you go away.
Yeah. Well, we're excited to see you guys at the National. If you happen to be out there, we're only 2 months away now. So we're getting
close. I really got to get the giveaway going because, so June, guys. Okay, so I will make an announcement. June, we're going to be going hard on getting people entered into the giveaway because I'd like to have the giveaway winner announced by the first week of July, by the very beginning of July, because I got to give you time to take off work, make your plans, do whatever you need to do. So if you follow my channel, if you follow me on Instagram, just make sure you're participating. Comment below on my videos. You never know when I just might be like, hey, I'm going to pull this random video and I'm going to pull a random comment from this video and this person's being entered into the giveaway. All you got to do is interact. It's that simple. It's not, it's not jumping through hoops. So, and same with Instagram as well. And I don't do many videos or Instagram posts as it is to begin with. So it's not like you have to try to keep up with me every day. So yeah, and it's 3 nights, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. So if you don't know, now you know. That's a song lyric. But yeah, and
it's $1,000 in hotel rooms, basically, right there.
I mean, now that you said it, we're 2 months away. We are really like
2 months.
2 months away. So I got to get this giveaway done within a month, by the end of June. So yeah, we're about a month from giving it away. So let's get it done.
Good stuff, guys. All right. Well, thanks for joining us again for another episode of Off Centered. We will be back in 2 weeks. And thanks again. Talk to you later.
See you guys.